And one of the things that is apparent to me is that you handle Desiree very well. Because although she's compassionate and caring, she's also a little firecracker. And he seems to do a very good job of being able to know just how to work with Desiree in such a way that this firecracker is you know, kind of contained, at least, in a certain realm, but still allowing her to be all the things that she's very wonderful about. And I've noticed that Desiree respects you. I've noticed that she honors you. She talks very highly about you. She admires both your personal and your spiritual ambitions. And I just want you to know that me and Narissa and Daryl and Gwen are all here to give our blessing to you as you take Desiree to be your wife.
Thank you very much.
Now moving on to marriage. Marriage is a sacred commitment to love and to commit to an exclusive relationship for the rest of your life. But there's a lot of confusion about the concept of love. And so I want to first just get this straight, that when I talk about love, I'm not talking about you know, the way you love ice cream and stag chili. Okay? That is not the idea that I mean when I talk about love. The biblical concept of love is to place so much value in another person that we're willing to sacrifice our own welfare for the welfare and happiness of the other person. It's not all about romance. Romance is really just puppy love for grown-ups. Puppy love for grown-ups is really what romance is. You know, I remember when I was in the 3rd grade, what I remember about the 3rd grade is Jill Holstrom. And Jill Holstrom was somebody I had puppy love for. And I would kind of, it was Valentine's Day, and I gave everybody the little tiny Valentine's cards. You know how they all are. You get them in a big pack and tear them off and everything. Except Jill got like a $5 card. And Jill got up and said, we all told everybody what card we liked the best, and she said she liked my card the best, which made me feel all happy inside, because I felt that if Jill loved me, then life was good. Life was wonderful. And that's puppy love. It's all based on how we feel. And that's really the same essence of romance. Romance is all based on how a person feels. But that's not, again, the concept of love that we described. We said love, real love, takes place when a person puts so much value in the other person, not how you feel, but so much value in the other person that they're willing to sacrifice their happiness, what they want, for the happiness and significance of the other person. Now, another thing I want to mention about love is it's also not about how wonderful we think the other person is. That's courting. Courting is when you go out and you figure out who it is you want to spend the rest of your life with. But that's not love, okay? That's just figuring out who that other person is going to be. Love, again, is when you place value in them. You know, let me give you an example. A girl, and you might think of Jamal in this sense, okay? There's a girl, like Desiree, it's like being so taken away with the person that you love that you think that your man is as gorgeous as Denzel Washington, as strong as the Hulk, as funny as like George Costanza, as smooth as Barry White, and as smart as Albert Einstein. Whereas real love is when you realize that, well, maybe your man is actually as gorgeous as George Costanza, and as smooth as the Hulk, as strong as Albert Einstein, and nothing like Denzel Washington in any category. But you love him to pieces, and you wouldn't trade him for the world. That's what we're starting to talk about with real love. Real love, again, values the other person for who they are, just them. Not all of the things that they bring to the table, and talents and looks and in success and stuff like that, but values just simply that person. It's not about what you get. Love is about what you give. It's not a, I'll scratch your back if you scratch my back. That's not what love is all about. Real love is being willing to sacrifice your interest for the interest of the other person. And so real love not only gives to somebody who they think is valuable, but real love actually gives them innate value. They actually determine that the other person is valuable. I want to give you an example of this. I have down here a little shoe. And it's a Converse, it's a Chuck Taylor. Tom Converse All-Star. You recognize this little guy? Well, this little shoe, outside of Gwen, and maybe a couple others, most of you don't really know the history of this shoe, and probably don't care. But I want to say that if I were to ask you what this shoe is worth, and I've done this before actually, I've asked people, what's this worth to you? And I got as much as maybe 50 cents, and in fact, without the other shoe, maybe it's worthless, I'm going to throw it away, I want the other shoe. I don't have the other shoe, so it's maybe worth 50 cents to you. Okay, I don't know. Anybody want to give me more than 50 cents? Except the people?
That's all I have.
55.
55 cents. Huh? Now here's the thing. I wouldn't actually sell this shoe to you for any amount of money. Under $500,000. No, I won't sell it. You know why? Because when Desiree was little, she wore this shoe. And what's also true about both of my kids is that we had a flood in our basement when they were little, and all the memorabilia we had of them when they were real little got water damaged. And so this is one of the few artifacts, I'll call it, one of the few things of memorabilia that I have about Desiree's childhood. So this means a lot to me, even though on the outside it's just a shoe. It's just a shoe. It's just some rubber and some canvas. But you know what? I give it value. To me, this shoe is valuable. To me, you don't come and try to take my shoe. I want my shoe, and I'm going to protect my shoe. I value this shoe. And that's what real love is about. It's about giving value to another person. Not about, oh, they're all valuable because they're successful. No, we give them value. And this is the kind of love that we're talking about in marriage, where the two of you give each other value. Where the two of you decide that the welfare and happiness of the other person is worth more than your own, and that you would be willing to sacrifice what you would want for the welfare of the other person. In the Bible, in Romans 8, we find this is exactly what God does. It says that God demonstrates His own love for us, and that while we were still sinners, we had no value, we're sinners, Christ dies for us. He doesn't die for us because we're great people. He dies for us because He has chosen to give us this innate value. And He does that to people that not only sinners, but reject Him. But He gives them that value. And this is the model, again, that we have for marriage. So when the